Hey girl, hey, it's IFBB Wellness Pro Emily Smith
and NPC Wellness competitor Elizabeth Sundin. Welcome back to the
Wellness Girlie Gang podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the Wellness Girlie Gang podcast. We're very lucky today to have Jeni Snax, an IFBB Pro and Olympian, joining us for this episode. So let's dive into what we're all wondering. Please explain to us the Snax as your last name, and when did you go from blonde to brunette? We love it.
Thank you, ladies, for having me on this podcast to begin with. But Jeni Snax, my husband, watching this back, he'll crack up. It started in CrossFit because I was always hungry, and usually after workouts, I'm like, "Who's hungry? Who wants to go get dinner? Who wants to get this?" So that just kind of stuck. So people just yelled across the gym, "Hey, Snacks!" And it was kind of embarrassing for a while. And then I think headquarters, when they started interviewing me, they heard my husband say, "Hey, Snacks," and they go, "Snacks, like, where did that come from?" And it just kind of stuck from every interview after that. So I'm like, okay, like, just kind of went with it. And so instead of being embarrassed by my nickname, just like, whatever, that's what people know me as now. So all of my CrossFit friends watching this back too will start laughing once they watch it.
I love
makes
that.
complete sense. And then explain to us the transition from your blonde hair to your brunette hair, because it looks really good, girl.
Well, thank you. I was really nervous to go back to brown, and that's kind of why I pushed it so long. And I usually go back to brown like every 5 or 6 years just to reset the health of my hair because I have really thin hair, so bleaching will like strip it and everything. So ever since I was 13, I would go blonde for a couple years, and then I hit a mark where I'm like, okay, I just got to reset it and just let it go back and do its thing and just grow naturally. So I have about like 6 inches of like natural healthy growth, but I think by the end of the year I'll be ready to go back to blonde. But yeah, I just do it every couple of years just to reset it. And I was worried what the judges would think this year. And the first show I did was like, they gave me my feedback. I'm like, what about the hair? They're like, oh no, it's fine. They didn't even care about it. They're like, as long as it's not pink, orange, or purple, we don't care. So I was like, okay, good. So we're good with that. So, but I know a lot of people know me as a blonde. And so that was a lot of questions I got this year. And I was like, you know what? Like, I just love to compete. It's like, whether I win or lose, I don't care. I'm a born competitor, so I just love the stage anyway. It's however I show up, I will just show up as my best self. And hair color, blonde or brunette, whatever. It's just like I just love to show up and compete. So,
I love that. Are you naturally a brunette?
yeah, it's like one shade lighter than this. So whenever this fades, it like fades to my natural hair color.
Okay. Well, let's get into your history, right? Like what made Jeni Snax? I know you did CrossFit days, but let's rewind and kind of tell everyone like who you are and how you got into bodybuilding.
Oh man. So when my daughter was 2 weeks old is when I dove into CrossFit, and I used that as an outlet to become stronger, not just physically, but mentally as well. And then COVID happened. It was like there were no more CrossFit competitions. I'm like, what do I do with myself? I don't know what to do right now. And they just announced wellness. And I'm like, like I wonder, like it's a way for me to still be competitive and still work on my body. And during COVID I started to enjoy the more bodybuilding movements versus the athletic performance movements of like Olympic weightlifting and everything. So I liked seeing my body change with the bodybuilding movements, and I go, I kind of like this. And I was getting older too, so those CrossFit movements weren't serving me anymore. My back hurt all the time, my knees hurt all the time. So I was like, I can still be competitive and still do what I love because I love fitness. I love doing anything competitive, and it's just part of my nature. So when they announced wellness, I just dove headfirst in it, and I had already had a big upper body, so I toned that down to kind of reverse my shape a little bit and build up the lower body first to catch up with my upper body. So that took a couple years. And then by 2022 is when actually we just wanted to do USAs of like, I just want to squeak by with my pro card and just see what happens. And then just do one pro show and just go toe to toe with the best to say like, wow, I stepped on stage with like Urishna at the time or Angela Borges. And I was like, I just want to do one show and just stand next to them. I don't even care what happens. And then we didn't expect to completely blow USA's out of the water. And it was kind of like, what just happened? are we going to keep doing this? I don't know. Like, yeah. And then Jim Mannion was like, well, the Texas Pros in 2 weeks. And I'm like, okay. So we got ready for that one. And I placed fifth in my pro debut. And I was like, oh man, okay, are we one and done or do we keep going? So then we did the Clash a couple weeks later. I placed second at that one. And then I got COVID. It was like right before Hawaii, like the week before, and I was like, do I still do it? So we went to headquarters and I was sweating bullets. My temperature was through the roof, and they're like, we still think you look good. You should just try and see what happens. And you could tell my body looked a little sick on stage, so I was still fighting like the fever that was up and down. But I was like, man, some of the things I pulled to make it to the stage, I was like, I could keep doing this. So, and it just the next year, like second or fifth, that's pretty much where I bounced around. And finally in 2024, I finally won the Houston Pro. Next thing I know, I'm at the Olympia, and I was like, whoa, this is what dreams are made of. So I was like, I don't even care if I'm first or last at the Olympia. It's like, this is the pinnacle of a bodybuilding career. And then looking back, I'm like, man, this was just supposed to be a let's see what happens. And then it just snowballed from there. And I love it. I freaking love this industry. I love being competitive. When I left oncology, because girls were asking me, do you want to coach? Are you a coach? I'm like, no, 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 no. My day job was so busy. I was working from 7 a.m. till 6 p.m., like working these committee meetings in oncology. So I was like, I don't have time to coach. I didn't want to do it yet. And I didn't feel I was ready to step away from that like umbrella, that like comfort zone of a day job. So eventually my very first client, Riley, while she was an IFBB Pro, we turned her pro. She bugged me enough to do it. And I was like, all right. So she was my very first one. And then again, that snowballed. I was like, all right. I was starting to make enough money that was like comparable to my day job. And it started to surpass my day jobs. Like, okay, I think I'm comfortable enough to leave it. And all the knowledge I had from oncology and like chemical research and building chemotherapy treatments. So I did a lot of that, like the background work with it that carried over into coaching. So I think my entire background has helped prepare me for coaching, and the rest is history.
That's awesome. Yeah, because like you never know if you're gonna like bodybuilding until you first do your show,
Yeah.
one show, and then you're like, okay, maybe I want to do another. Like maybe I want to do another. Yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah,
so
you
awesome.
really, I'm glad that you did your first pro debut and you did so well. Then you did the Texas Pro. So it's good that you just kept rolling with the punches because look where it got you now. I mean, you got to the Olympia in 2024. That's amazing. Like you said, that is like the pinnacle of the bodybuilding achievement. And here you started in during COVID and it's only 2025. And do you mind sharing with us your age?
Sure. I'm 37 going on 38, and I haven't celebrated my birthday in the
Oh,
last like 4 years ago. I've been competing, going into the Olympia and everything. So my birthday is October 2nd. I'm actually in a good long off season. I actually get to celebrate my birthday this year.
Oh my God, that's awesome. I'm October 12th, so we're very close. Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
it.
Yep. Let's go.
Do you mind getting into since I'm 36 and Emily is around the same?
36. Yep.
Yes. Do you mind getting into as a 30 something year old female, do you think it's more difficult for us to hold or build muscle compared to the 20-year-old girls that we're competing against?
I think it comes down to one, your genetics. So that's helpful to figure out what category you fit in. So for me, like my upper body builds very fast if I just look at the weights or breathe in the weights. Like my upper body just goes. So that's a conversation we could talk about for this past season with some of the judges this year. But I actually think as you get older, I think the better you look. And I feel like it's like a fine wine. You just get better with age. You're a little bit smarter with how you train. Some of these younger kids who already start with a lot of muscle, that might be their genetics. And that's okay. But I feel like when you get older, you have a little bit more muscle maturity and density. So I personally like the 30 something year old muscle look of maturity. So yes, somebody in their early 20s might have a little bit of mass, but they don't have maybe the density
Mhm.
or the maturity that the judges want to see. And some of my early 20-year-olds, when the judges feedback, they're like, yes, you have the size, but you need a little bit more maturity and density. So I listen to the judges' feedback, even for my girls that are coming up. So if they're like just missing that mark by 1 or 2 spots, that's usually what the feedback is if they have the size. And if they're missing it by that 1 spot, that's usually what the judges tell us. So I'm like, oh, good to know. So they're like, conditioning's on point. It's just a little bit of maturity. Just keep pounding away at the weights. And same with Riley right now. It's like she's in a long off season. So whatever happens with that, it's like she's built a lot of density and maturity, even though she's younger. And she's really been pounding at the weights in the off season to build that maturity and density.
Do you feel like being older, is it harder for you to maintain the size, especially being in wellness and, you know, maintaining the size of your legs and the lower body? I know, like, obviously the upper body, we have to kind of tone that down a little bit, but
I think it's a hindrance on maintaining that muscle. I think it depends on your cardio plan too and how hard of a cut you're doing, because I've been through that where I've done harder cuts and I've lost a little bit of muscle in that process and I've had to rebuild it back up. So I like a shorter prep, but I feel like as I get older, it's easier to lose it. So I have to do a little bit longer preps now just to maintain it. Like if you, for my body, for instance, I can't do the stair stepper constantly because that'll shred my quads to pieces.
Yeah.
And there's other people who have better genetics where they could do the stair stepper all day. But for someone like me, it's like I'd rather walk on a high incline treadmill or bike to maintain my quad muscles. So again, that's genetics, and you have to play to what your genetic makeup is. So for me, it's like I have to learn, I need to do a longer prep. I need to stay away from the Stairmaster. I need to just take my time with cutting down, because that's another big thing is like people are super eager to get onto the stage and they're like, well, if I shed super fast then I'll be ready faster. It's like, yeah, you might lose muscle in the process. I've been through it, I've done it myself, and I'm like, lived and learned, and I learned my lesson.
Yeah.
So how long are your preps usually, since you think, yeah, do you, I guess as we're older, do you think a longer prep is better to hold on to that muscle? Or I guess age doesn't matter at all. You still want to hold on to muscle.
I think longer preps, actually, since I've been through both scenarios, I think longer preps are more beneficial. Yes, mentally, they're a little bit more of a struggle because people are like, I can't prep any longer. This is so long of a prep. But now I feel like the more time you take to shred down, the more you can hold on to that muscle. So it sucks to do it a little bit longer. And I know people are eager, but at the same time, even myself, like I love a shorter prep, but for my body, a longer prep is more beneficial because you don't want to have to keep doing longer and longer off seasons just to put that muscle back on that you lost. So, but for me, since I'm switching the figure, that's like a different reason to do an off season.
Wait, what?
Excuse me.
Spoiler alert.
Sorry, spoiler.
My
Sorry.
God.
Can we
Okay.
dive into that, please?
Yes.
I mean, you kind of have to. All my other questions are gone.
Yeah,
They're
this is
garbage.
exciting,
No,
Jeni.
kind of jumped ahead a few of your questions.
Please dive
So
into this. Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
So this past year, I knew with the Pittsburgh Power Fit and everything, I knew wellness was going to blow up this year. I just knew it as a coach and not just as an athlete. Like they're going to want more size. And I called it at the beginning of the year and I saw that trend. They wanted more size. And I'm like, I don't know if I could keep up with it with the size that they're requiring. And I've always had more of an athletic build, or so like a boyish type of build and everything. This year, my feedback was, your upper body's big. You need more lower body. And I'm like, but I don't even lift upper body. I don't even know what to do. So finally, my last show, some of the judges are very honest with me. They're like, Jen, you always present very well. You have a beautiful package. It's just where wellness is going. And when we see you step on stage, they said, you don't even have to pose yet. Just as soon as you step on stage, we see figure. And I'm like, really? They're like, well, now that we've solidified what the criteria is for wellness, we just think you're better suited for figure. And it took me a while to like let go of my ego into this off season for like, I don't know, 6 weeks. I was still hammering my lower body. I was like, no, I'm going to do wellness. I'm still staying in wellness.
The denial.
I finally did some blood work, and I know we said we weren't going to talk about gear or anything like that, but I've never done any kind of testosterone therapy at all, but my natural testosterone is like through the roof. So I'm like, that's associated with like a bigger upper body and narrower hips. And growing up, I didn't have a chest. So I actually, these are not mine. I had to get these done.
We all do. It's fine.
Yeah. So like that makes like so much more sense. Like growing up, I always had a boyish figure, like narrower hips, and I don't have the wide like bone structure hips that Wellness has. Like Francielle and Eduarda, yes, they have the muscle mass, but their bone structure, their hips are wider. So they can handle just that little bit of extra muscle makes them look even bigger, a little bit more dramatic lower body. But for me, I'm like, wow, like maybe I should have been doing figure all along. So I'm like, oh, like kicking myself in the butt a little bit. But I'm very grateful. The judges were very honest with me. And I mean, since I started lifting upper body in the last like 7 weeks, it's just like grown each week. And I'm in a deficit to just clean up a little bit because I had a vacation with my family. So even being in a deficit, lifting upper body, my upper body measurements are just skyrocketing. So it's like, okay, these are my genetics. And instead of like beating my head against a wall trying to gain every little ounce of muscle in my lower half because of my narrow hips, it's like, I'm just going to let my genetics do its thing. So I'm going to do what the judges told me and figure 2026 here.
Go.
Exciting.
My
That's awesome.
goodness.
And we talk about this so often in the bodybuilding community that you have to follow your genetics and what you enjoy training in the gym. So are you excited to get back to upper body training, back training? Did you miss
I
that?
Yeah, I actually did miss it, and I needed a new challenge because I've been a collegiate basketball athlete, I've done CrossFit, and it's like I've done wellness, and I think I've pushed my body as far as I could go in wellness before the category really solidified what they wanted. And it's like, okay, I think it's time to make the switch, and this is just what my body loves to do. So it's like, okay, like genetics are a thing, and people are like, I've seen on Reddit, they go, no, it doesn't just come down to if your female hormones are more dominant or testosterone is high. Yes, it does. It actually makes a difference. And since I did my blood panels, I'm like, that makes a lot of sense since I was a kid growing up, like why my body looks the way it does. So it's not the end all be all of everything. But I think it's a factor for sure. And I love training upper body. I missed it so much. So it's a new challenge for me. And it's nice to have a little break from doing legs like 4 or 5 times a week. It's nice to give that a little breather so I can just crush some upper body.
I was just going to say that, like, here you've crushed CrossFit, you've crushed wellness going to the Olympia. Next challenge, let's try out figure because as a pro already, you can jump into a pro show as figure, correct? Like you don't have to start at the regional level. So this will be exciting to watch, Jeni. I mean, I'm assuming you still train legs though, just not as
Yeah.
often as wellness.
Correct. And that was my feedback after Shreveport. They said your legs are fine where they're at. If you decided to go and figure, your legs don't need to be any bigger. They said we just need your upper body just a little bit more. Just let it do its thing. And I said, okay. So they're like, but your legs are already where they should be for figure, but for wellness, you'd have to push it a little bit more. So I'm like, okay. I don't want to say this is the easier route, but it makes it more enjoyable. So I'm not just crushing my body into the ground just to, like I said, gain every little ounce of lower body movement just because I love wellness. I do think it's super beautiful and I love it, but it's like my body is more suited for figure. So that's where I'm going to go and I'm going to have fun with it. I think my husband for a while was against it because he didn't want me to have a big upper body. I said, listen, you met me in CrossFit when I had a big upper body. So, like,
Right.
yeah, okay. So he's finally on board with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get to keep your butt. It's fine. Like he should be
I
happy.
know. I know. The judges told me my butt's fine, my legs are fine for figure. They're like, just don't let that get any smaller. I'm like, oh, don't worry, I'll keep that.
I'm actually watching your figure quarter turns right now. Yeah. Your this was a week ago. She posted on her Instagram, everyone that's not looking. But if you go to Jeni Snax Instagram, a week ago she posted a figure quarter turn routine. Yeah, I agree with them. Yeah, the legs, I want to get them any bigger. The lats, the lats and arms, shoulders, yeah. Arms for sure. Like triceps, biceps, because figure girls are a little bit because wellness, we never train arms because we were like had to have really small arms. So that'll be a big difference. More arm training, lats, of course, shoulders, chest. Maybe would you do chest with your augmented breasts? Would you do that or no?
It depends. If you have implants over top of the muscle, then yes, you can train chest. But when I had my implants done, I had them done under the muscle, and it was my doctor's recommendation. He goes, you can't do chest any longer. But he said, yeah, you can do a little pump. He said, but it might cause a tear or something like that. So I've talked to other figure girls as well, and it's the same scenario. It depends on where your implants are. They said if it's under the muscle, you probably shouldn't do it. One of my very first coaches was a fitness coach, and hers was under the muscle. And she goes, no, like I don't train chest at all. She goes, I'm not going to pop a boob. So I'm like, okay, good to know.
Yeah, those things are expensive. We need to pop them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's funny is Emily and I started in figure
Mm-hmm.
and then switched to wellness. And so
Yep.
here you're doing the complete opposite. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I bring that up because when I was training for figure, I did train chest and mine are under the muscle and nothing happened. Like there was no orientation or anything. I couldn't push it as hard as if they weren't there. But I'm glad I'm in wellness now because
Yeah.
even though I
Yeah,
really
when
enjoy
I was in figure, so that made it real easy. I got compliments about my chest split though, and now I don't have a chest split really, so it's like kind of weird.
yeah.
Kind of miss it sometimes.
Well, that's so exciting,
Yeah,
Jeni. I
that's
mean,
so exciting though. Yeah, you'll do great in figure. And plus, the other thing is Sid has left, so there's a lot of opportunity now for figure girls to compete, and it's pretty exciting.
well, Missy
I
is
feel
now.
like I feel like I want to be one of those ones that brings the excitement back to figure if I can do that. And the interest that people have had in like, oh my God, Jeni Snax is going from wellness to figure, like the the interest that I've gotten from that, it's like maybe I can do some good with this to bring a little bit more attention to figure
Mm-hmm.
also.
Yeah.
So that was part of why I was so afraid to go to figures. I was afraid I was going to lose like my fan base with wellness and everything. And it was like, that's what people know me as. And this past season didn't go how I wanted it to. And I was like, man, like I'm going to lose people who supported me. If anything, how I handled myself this season, my fan base grew, like went through the roof this year. And I went, huh. So it's not just about your placings of where you're at, it's how you carry yourself. So that's what I teach all of my girls too. I said, show placings or whatever, but as long as you still enjoy showing up and how you handle yourself in those situations, people are going to gravitate towards you even more. And I remember the Charlotte Pro last year when I got second in that one. Tyler Mannion was judging, and I got second to Bruna. And yeah, I was a little bit upset. I mean, everybody wants to win, but as soon as I came around the side of the stage, my daughter was standing there just bawling her eyes out. And I looked at my husband. I was like, okay, immediately I got to collect myself. And I knelt down to her. I go, why are you crying? She's like, because you didn't win.
Oh,
And immediately I saw Tyler and the other judges like look over towards me. And I knelt down to her. I said, honey, so we can't win them all. I said, are you proud of mommy for getting up there? She said, well, yeah. I said, winning isn't everything. I said, as long as you're proud of what I've done, I said, I'm just happy that I get to do what I love. And I said, that's truly the best part of it. And it's like, even though I wake up some mornings, I'm like, God, I'm so sore. It's like, what a privilege it is that I can wake up and still do what I love. What a privilege it is to be sore doing something that I love. And it's like,
Mhm.
placings or whatever. And even all of my amateur competitors, I go, be proud of what you've done to even get to the stage. It's like we can't control who shows up. I can't control who shows up against me. But it's like, dang, like I went through a lot in preps. Like you don't realize life still happens around you in that like 10 to 16-week prep. You might have a family member pass away. Somebody might get ill. You might financially be in trouble, what have you. I remember one peak week I had to take my dog to the emergency vet to get a surgery. And it was like, you still go through life through these preps and you still showed up on stage. So it's like I went through all of that to still show my best. And it's like this, I treat it like your wedding day. It's like
Mhm.
this is my day. Like I'm celebrating me and all the hard work that I've done. So if that's something I can leave to everybody coming up, it's like placings aren't everything. Remember why you do this sport because you love it. You love to compete and you love to just push your body to the limits to say, man, I did that. Because when you look back when you're 60 or 70 years old, you're going to be like, I did that. Yeah, like you're not going to remember whether you're first, second, last, or whatnot. You'll be like, wow, like, I got in the best shape of my life, and that was pretty incredible. So
Exactly.
that's something I'm always going to remember.
Yeah, girl. I mean, people don't follow you because of your placings. They
Mhm.
follow you because of the person you are.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
you're a good person and you're a role model to, I'm sure, a lot of people, not just wellness, but I'm sure figure now too. So what's
Mhm.
that saying? People don't remember what you look like. They remember how you made them feel.
Yep,
Yes.
I'm just about to say that.
That's why you have so many followers, and I'm sure you're going to increase your followers seeing your journey from wellness to figure,
Mhm.
because I'm sure that was not an easy decision. I mean, here
Mhm.
you have been to the Olympia for wellness. You want to see if you can continue on doing that, but hey, why not try this figure challenge?
Yeah. And this way I can still be competitive. And
Mhm.
I don't want to say it's easier, like I said, but I'm not beating my head up against the wall, like trying to get back to where I was for wellness. This is just more suited for my genetics, and got to leave your ego at the door sometimes and do what's best for your body and what your body's giving you. It's like, this is what my body's giving me. It's like, here's your gifts. Are you going to use it? And it's like, your body wants to grow an upper body. So, are you going to use it or not? So I'm going to use it. It's like, it's a gift from him up above. And it's like, if I don't use that, he's going to say when I'm up there, why didn't you use what I gave you? I look at it that way. Like, yeah, you handed me things on a silver platter. So I do look at it that way. It's like when God gives you an opportunity, you got to use it.
That's so true. And whether you're ready for it or not, what's that saying? Like, we make plans and God just laughs at us. So, yeah, He has a plan for all of us. And yours right now is clearly figure.
It kind of makes me laugh. It's like I never would have even thought that I would get past USA's. Like looking back at all that, it's like, holy crap, like I've done so much in that time, and all of my stuff is in the basement with my husband's sports memorabilia, and I see all of my trophies and like my crowns and everything. I'm like, wow, like it's been a long journey, and I'm so grateful I still get to do this, because you talk about that as a collegiate athlete. It's like I could tear my ACL tomorrow and my collegiate career is over. So it's like anything can happen. I tore my hamstring a couple years ago and I thought my career was over. I was like, I can't come back from this. And I did. And I was determined to do it. There were some people that told me I should just hang it up and retire. And I'm not a quitter. If my husband was sitting here with me, he would tell you, like, Jen doesn't quit anything in her life, no matter how hard it is. So, and that goes back to my daughter when she was 2 weeks old. And I had to leave a tough situation. I had to go back to work 2 weeks postpartum. I wasn't ready for it, but when you're faced with survival or failure and you have no choice, it's like you got to do it.
Yeah.
There is no failure. So I think that scenario has prepared me for this entire bodybuilding career. It's like I've been through hell. I know what that's like. So a hamstring tear sucked in the moment. Like that's not the worst of it. So I can make it and come back. And it's like I've already been through rock bottom. It's like, what else can you throw at me? Give it to me. I can do it.
Yes. Easy compared to what you've
Yeah.
experienced in your past. I mean, going back to work after giving birth 2 weeks ago, I mean, that's wild. That's wild. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think you can handle anything if you can do that, girl.
And was
Yeah.
yours a natural birth or was it a cesarean?
It was natural. It was painful to get back to work and be on my feet
Mm.
at 2 postpartum, and I went back to school too for X-rays. So I was working 3 jobs, and I was back to school and clinical, and working in the hospital, running around doing that. So I was very skinny at that point, just from the stress and everything. So my husband would tell you on our very first date, he said, "You were an ice queen." I didn't think I could break down that wall of like self-protective mode, because I remember sitting there like this on our first day. I'm like, here's my cards. I have a daughter. I work 3 jobs and I'm back in school. I mean, take it or leave it. And he's still around. 9 years later, he's still around. Yeah.
That's so
Yeah, he
cute.
must have saw something in you, that drive, right? That drive to not give up. Like you're like, I have all of these things against me or with me, whatever, but like doesn't necessarily define me of who I am.
Mhm.
And then you showed him who you were. You showed everyone, you showed the world, you're an Olympian.
I have to say, your spouse or your partner, especially in bodybuilding, they have to be willing to lift you up and encourage you along the way.
Mm.
And I'll admit, in the beginning, it's a very unknown sport to do. So it's very hard for anyone to understand it. I mean, even my own parents, like I had to convince them to go to the Olympia last year because they didn't understand the weight of it and how big that was. And my sister had to sit them down and be like, listen, like this is like the Super Bowl of bodybuilding. Like you want to go. So when I do see people understand it, it took my husband like a year to understand, but once he did, he's my biggest cheerleader in this whole thing. But once my parents saw me on stage at the Olympia, my mom started crying and she goes, I'm just so proud of you. And I go, I'm just glad you guys are having a good time. Like to me, I was like, I'm just glad you guys are having a ball in Vegas and everything. But it meant a lot to see my own parents understand that. And my dad even said, he goes, you were meant to do this. He said, you've always been a competitor. You've always been like the most competitive one growing up. And people didn't always understand that about me in basketball. They're like, man, you're too competitive. Is there such a thing as being too competitive?
Yeah.
So I was a kid that grew up with Michael Jordan, and watching him, it's like that is the ultimate level of peak performance. And you give it your all. You sacrifice so much to make it there. And it's like I don't want to be old at 70 or 80 years old and say, what if? Like, what if I pushed it as far as I could? So I never want to regret not trying. And I want to leave it all on the table to say I did it all.
You're gonna do it, girl. We have faith in you.
Oh, thank you.
That motto, that mindset. How do you help other girls like get to a similar mindset like you, like coaching wise, I guess, if they're struggling through something going on in their life and maybe they're in prep or maybe they're just a lifestyle client just trying to get through a phase of their life? What would you
I
say?
think for bodybuilding, I do love working with masters athletes probably the most because they've been through every phase of life that's thrown at them. I have one who's a mom of 3 kids, and she's like, ah, my kid had appendicitis, and we were just at the hospital the other day. No big deal. Still in prep. Let's go. I'm like, okay. But I would say they're the easier ones to coach because they've been through things like me that have hit rock bottom. And it's like, so for them is like a piece of cake, piece of pie. Now, my younger kids, my 20-year-olds or mid 20s, it takes a little bit more coaching, I would say, to teach that mindset. It's not just prep. It's not just following a plan. But when life throws you a wrench, when things get hard, it's my job to tell them, like, this is how hard it is. This isn't going to be the hardest thing that you do. If prep is the first thing that they've faced that is super hard for them, I try to tell them to buck up. I explain to them all my scenarios too. I'm like, I've been through this and this. It's like, if I can do that, you can do this too. And I don't like to let anybody quit a prep either. So I push everyone as hard as I can, but I encourage them to communicate with me too. Like, tell me how your week, like, not just prep. Like, they're like, cardio was hard, or I didn't prep all my food. I go, no, no, no. Tell me how your week went. Like, how was work? How was like your friends? Like, how was your spouse? Like, how's your home life? Do your parents understand? Like, how is that going? So that's a big part of my feedback when I talk to them. I go, I don't want to just know about prep because your life, and when that's in chaos, you have to learn to have them work together. I don't want to say balance because it's very hard to find balance. Bodybuilding, there's no such thing as balance, right? It's extreme.
Mm-hmm.
So I teach them how to make it work together and how to mitigate those stressful situations. I'm a big believer in meditation and suggestive hypnotherapy. I'm a big believer. I know some of my younger 20-year-olds, they're like, what is that? That's something ridiculous. I'm like, no, it's really helpful. It really is. And that's something that my dad actually introduced me to when I was 18 for basketball. It was just that visualization mindset. And at that time, I was like, this is stupid. Why are we doing this? So now that I've spent many years like practicing it and everything, I really encourage my younger girls to get into it. I said it takes a while to really submit to the process, but if you start listening to them, even just take like a 10-minute nap and just put it in your ears. You might not remember anything they say, but it's very helpful to mitigate that stress. So stress can go through the roof in this process, and I really pride myself on how I teach the younger girls how to handle that, how to make it work, and how to get through those preps. Like I said, life happens around you in that 16 weeks. So you have to be able to manage it all. And it's my job to make sure you don't crumble to the pressure. If you do, let it out, have a good cry, tell me about it. tell me all your stresses. I go, now how do you feel? Okay, I feel better. So and it's like your work life too. I have nurses that work 12-hour shifts, rotating schedules. I have police officers, like canine officers. It really stresses them out when work throws off their prep plans. I said I like to set everyone up so maybe they're a couple weeks ahead to prepare for if your work life is chaotic or you get sick one week, something happens in your family. So that's 3 weeks right there that something can happen. So I try to account for those weeks so that it is less stressful for them so they don't feel behind. So I'm like, now you're right on time. So we already prepared for that. And I don't think a lot of coaches do stress that in the beginning. And before I take a client on in the consult, when I talk to them, I say, I try to prepare for those, what I say, in case shit happens weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to prepare you for it. So if it happens, know that you're in a good spot. So when those couple days happen that throws you off, you're going to be fine. I've already accounted for that in your entire prep. And so I think that takes a lot of stress off of them already. That's actually a huge stress reliever I've found in this whole process.
That's really smart, Jenny, to do that. Because, yeah, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
stress affects you emotionally, physically, mentally. So that's, if you told me that as a client, I would already become less stressed knowing that you've already scheduled for stress to happen because it's
Mhm.
inevitable. Stress
Mm-hmm.
happens. But I also do want to point out that a client coach relationship is so important. And I'm very lucky that I have I love my coach. I tell her things before I tell my husband things. So it's good to hear that you are taking into account for your clients, like putting them first, and you want to hear how are you feeling instead of like, did you do your cardio, checking all the boxes. You actually want to know their feelings. So I'm sure they appreciate that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if you bottle it up and you just bury it for so long, you're
Yeah.
setting yourself up for a bigger blow up later. Not just you as the coach, but the client. Because when I first started, I had maybe one or two clients that didn't tell me anything. And I'm like, how are you doing? Like, they just didn't want to tell me anything. And I go, prep is okay. Like, how are you doing? Are you all right? And then, like, 2 weeks out, they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm like, but what just happened? Like, so I try to learn along the way as well. And I've had coaches too. So I've learned what not to do from those other coaches as well. So I'm grateful for every bad experience I've been through because it's taught me what not to do with these clients as well. Because I've been through it. I'm never going to put anybody else through it as well.
Yeah, communication is a huge thing. I've experienced the same thing. Like as a coach myself, I've had, some girls that, yeah, they give you like the bare bones of the questionnaire. And I'm like, my questionnaire has so many questions. How are you literally like avoiding all of these questions? And like there's a brain dump at the end to like write whatever you want and like nothing. And so yeah, that time it's kind of like, I mean, you can only do so much, right?
Yeah.
We can't make people do anything, right? We can give them all the tools, we can give them the right plan for them, but if they're not following it or communicating to us like what's working or what's not working, it's like I don't know what to do. Like I can't
Yeah.
help you, and yeah, we just kind of learn like maybe I need to be more communicated to this person that's not communicating to me, or ask them like what's a better way to communicate. I tell girls in their check-in, I'm like, hey, give me more. I don't want like numbers or yes, no. Like I need more. Like I need more from you because the more that I can get, the better I can coach you and the better I can understand what's going on.
I had a client last week that was actually on the phone with her for a good hour talking to her about things because it seemed like things were spiraling one check in after another. And I said, we need to have a call. We need to have
Mm-hmm.
see what's going on because she had so much potential. I said I would hate to see you waste your potential if we don't dig deeper and see what's going on. Turned out like her time management, she's a stepmom to like three other kids, and so she was feeling all of that pressure to be perfect for them and make sure she was getting them to where they need to be, and she was forgetting about herself.
Mm.
So I said, like, you're putting so much pressure on yourself to make sure everything's perfect. It's not going to be perfect. And I said, let's find out like where you're falling short on taking care of yourself. And maybe we just need to get up a little bit earlier in the morning, and that's your time to work out. I have other ladies on the team who are moms to other kids, who are other stepmoms as well. They have an entire career during the day. Their window to work out is between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. That's the only time they have. They get up at 2:30 and they make it work. So I stressed that to her. I said, when my daughter starts back in school this fall, I'm going to have to get up at 4 to get my cardio done. I've been enjoying the summer sleeping in. I said, but that's something I need to adjust to is her schedule. She's a multi-sport kid too. So she's going to start that, what I call second day. Once 3 p.m. hits, second day starts. So it's like sports, 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 homework, all that stuff. So I have a small window for myself as well. So I said, let's just talk about that. I said, do you think you can get up earlier in the morning to get your things done or prep your food twice a week? Because I know your food goes bad throughout the week. So let's try to mitigate that as well. So we really like dug deep to see what was going on in her personal life to make sure we got her back on track. And she's back on track. She's motivated again. And so that's a case where it's like you have to take the time as the coach to be like, let's have a chat. Like aside from your check-ins or whatnot, it's like, let's just talk and dig deeper. Now, on the flip side, there are athletes who need more than just coaching. And I feel some just dump everything on you and they treat you like a therapist. And that took me a hot minute to understand, like, I'm not a licensed therapist. So that's a line I have to give them sometimes. I go, I'm not a licensed therapist. And I encourage them to speak to somebody. I go, do you have a therapist? If they do, I say, I think you need to have a chat with them. If you don't, I think you should investigate speaking to one if things get out of control. I have recovering eating disorder girls on my team, and I can only take them so far with my coaching methods. When I see them spiral, I say, you need to talk with your therapist and then come back to me and see what you worked out. So that's a fine line too. As a bodybuilding coach, is you have to recognize when they need help beyond you as the bodybuilding coach. So, and I've parted ways with some girls too, where they felt like that's all they wanted out of this. They didn't want the bodybuilding plan. They weren't following it. And they just wanted me to just be their friend and just do that. It's like, yes, I can be your friend to an extent, but I can't provide that therapy that you need. And I've encouraged some girls, I said, maybe bodybuilding isn't for you. You need to work on what's going on up here before you can continue on with that. And those are tough conversations to have, but I don't do this just for the sake of a dollar. And I know like some of my clients will have heard me say that sometimes. It's like I parted ways with some girls if it just isn't a fit that way. And I said, like I'd rather you seek help elsewhere, spend your money on that versus like on somebody like me. It's like, yeah, this is my career, but that's more important. So
Yeah, those are
not everybody is meant for bodybuilding, and that's okay. That's totally okay. And I feel like it's our job as bodybuilding coaches to recognize that. And sometimes I wish we had doctorates for us as bodybuilding coaches. There's so much more to it than just the plan. It's like there's so much more. And I don't want to dog on any male competitors, but I feel like a lot of them miss that emotional part of it. Just like, here's the plan, follow it. Don't talk to me other than that. And it's like, no, that's like the biggest part of it. It's like you got to have some conversation about it. And that's the same with post show too. It's like coaching doesn't end when the show ends. For some girls, post show is more important and harder. For me, it's harder than the actual prep because you feel lost. Like, I don't have a date to be ready by. Now, what do I do? So I feel like that up and down, a lot of coaches miss the mark on that with like coaching. How do you handle post show? How do you handle up here post show? It's not just your body, but it's up here too.
Do you mean male coaches, male athletes? Yeah.
Yeah, male coaches, because I feel like men can remove their emotions easier than females can.
I
And so I think it's harder for them to understand that part about female athletes. So in a male dominated world too, with not so many female coaches, it's like I think a lot of female competitors don't know that there is coaching that provides that emotional support as well.
we align.
Yeah.
We align. We may or may not have had the same coach at the same time.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate you saying that, Jeni, because a bodybuilding coach is not a therapist. But of course, as an athlete, they're going to come to you and tell you how they're feeling or whatever. But I'm glad that you say to them, and I'm sure Emily does this too. If you are talking to a client and they are starting to escalate to a deeper situation, you know when to say, okay, you need to go see a licensed professional to talk about this. But also in bodybuilding, I feel like it exposes so much about yourself, not just about the working out, not just about the bodybuilding. You learn so much about yourself
Mhm.
in a prep, just everything. Being a coach is not easy because you're not just, like you said, it's not just about the meal plan and the training. It's the communication and figuring things out in your brain.
Mhm.
Yeah, and of course we want them to spill the tea, like tell us everything, right? Like we kind of want them to tell us what's going on. So I think that is the part where it kind of gets a little blurry with
Mhm.
the, being the best friend slash therapist. Because yes, we want to know what's going on in your life because it's data. It's data to help us understand why you may be stressed or help us to understand why you're not managing your time, and we can help you with that, or just uncovering more, like you said, Elizabeth, just uncovering more about yourself. So yeah, it is a hard it is a
The
hard
fine line, though.
line to
Yeah.
draw. And I do think female coaches are better attuned with the energy, the vibe, the that kind of thing too. When you're having a video conversation with a client, you can read between the lines, like based off of like how they're like their facial expressions, how they're holding themselves, what they're saying. So I do think it's an important thing. I'm glad that you do get on phone calls and video calls with your girls and your clients, because that is big. A lot of coaches will just give you like a Word document or something and be like, here you go. Good
Yeah,
luck.
just execute. Yeah.
Yeah, here's a 20-page PDF like our last episode.
It's like, I don't know why you can't follow the plan. I go, that doesn't help me.
Yeah, just follow the plan. Like, okay.
It's like, okay, thanks.
I got
Anything
you.
else to it? No?
Yeah.
Okay. But there is that fine line between being a coach and a friend. And
Mhm.
there are some girls I am friends with, and there are others I think I have a pretty good intuition about. They only hired me to be their friend. It's like there are some that I can just tell it might not be a good fit, and I maintain that coach client boundary. Yes, I still want to know what's going on, but there becomes a point where if you're bombarded constantly every single day, it's like you got to maintain
Hmm.
that professionalism as well. And I have had some girls who might have been jealous of my friendship with others. And it's like, I have to address that. And I said, I am your coach. I can be your friend to help you, but I can't be there 24/7, like from 3 a.m. to midnight. It's like, I got to sleep too. Like I got to work on plans. I have other clients that need my attention as well. So it's that time management that you have to communicate that with your clients as well and let them know, like, this is how my day is. Like, I will talk to you at this time tomorrow. If you have any other questions, I'm going to open up my day where I can address every question that you have. So I think that you need that communication as the coach as well to maintain those boundaries, to know how far clients can go, and you as the coach, like how much you're willing to give and take with them as well. If that makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If a client is messaging you on Instagram, WhatsApp, like your app or whatever, and it's that type of person, like how do you handle that?
I have had clients like that who want your attention, like want you to answer immediately. It's like if you don't answer them on the app, I see the notification. I just might not be able to get to it right away. They'll message you on Instagram. I see you. I know you want an answer, or WhatsApp, or they'll text you at the same time. So when I do see that they've reached out at least to a second outlet of communication, I'll message them and say, I will get to you in a second. If it's not an emergency, I'm working on other clients at the moment, but I'll address all your questions when I can. It might be like in a couple hours or in the next hour. That's how I had to manage my time when I was in oncology working on chemotherapy regimens. And it's like something else would pop up, like other things that needed my attention. I'm like, I will get to you in a second. I'm working on finishing up this chemotherapy regimen. I will address this in a moment. So it's the same scenario. And I feel like that job prepared me for coaching to mitigate when to give my time to certain clients. But I do tell them if it does get out of control, I'm like, you don't have to message me on every single platform to get my attention. I see you. It's just going to take me a second. And usually, if you communicate that with them, they go, I'm so sorry. Like, I just get impatient. I go, it's okay. I totally understand. But I'm not one of those coaches that just won't talk to you for like days. I don't like coaches like that. I do, even on Sundays when that's my family time, if I see messages pop up, I might send a general message on my public board to my entire team, like, hey, I have this going on with my family, guys. If you have any questions, I'll address them tomorrow on Monday, work day. but I just won't completely ghost them. I've been through that with coaches, and I don't like to say that I'm needy at all, but when I'm in an emergency and I don't hear from you, if I am not working on a Sunday and it's an emergency, I will address it immediately. But I've had coaches who will talk to you for days, and it's like they won't talk to you till your check-in, and it's like, I'm not like that. It's like, yeah, you have your check-in, but if something comes up, you have a general question, I'll answer it. Might not be that second if I'm doing other things, but I'll tell you, like, here, I'll answer you in just a moment. Just give me a second. So again, that's communication. As you as the coach, you have to address that. You have to talk to them. And I think that's something that male coaches miss as well, too, because I know they're just like, here's the plan, follow it. Don't talk to me till the next check-in. And it's like, I just can't do that.
Yeah. I try to make myself like open to communication. Like anyone's chatting me, I'm always looking at my chats and seeing if there's anything that needs to be responded to. But I have had an instance where I've had someone that like was upset that I left them on red. And I'm like, excuse me? Like that, I thought that was a little bit like, I work, I may have read it, but like to see if it's an emergency or not. But like I may be in like working on something right now. So I just thought that was like a little bit like, okay, like I got a life too, man.
Yeah, those are personalities too that you have to manage as a coach as well. Somebody told me once, they said, when you work with pros, you have to manage their personalities. It's not so much about the coaching. I'm like, that's not true. They said it's amateurs and pros. You have to understand what personality they have. Yes, it's the plan, but they're like, oh no, it's just about divas as pros. I go, shame on you. I'm a pro. And it's not like I'm not a diva. It's like you do have to find out what personality each individual is, whether they're an amateur or a pro. It's not just managing divas. Or so I was really offended when I heard that one. I go, it's the plan, but yes, you have to find out what personalities are. And I've actually found that amateur or pro, a controlling personality is probably the toughest to coach because they want control over the whole plan. They might not know, they might not even know that they're doing it. And those are the ones that I actually part ways with the most, are the ones who they go off plan and they don't show any remorse for it. They're just like, yeah, I ate this, this, and this, and this, what of it? And I'm like, okay. Like, it's one thing to say, like, oh, I screwed up, like, I had this, or I'm sorry, just tell me what to do to get back on track. That's coachable. I don't care if you screw up. You're not going to be perfect. Nobody is. But are you coachable? That's the thing. And with these controlling personalities, some that are really extreme, if they're like, I ate this, this, and this, I'm like, okay, well, here's what we got to do to get you back on track. Well, I can't do that. I don't want to do that, because they think they have control over the plan. And when you take that control back to say, here's the adjustments we need to make, even if you're sweet as pie about it, even if you're as nice as possible, they'll push back on that. When you know that they push back on the adjustments, that's very tough to coach. And it's like, then why'd you hire me to begin with?
Yeah.
So that makes my job difficult. It's like, I'm trying to help you get the most out of your dollar. This is my job. Let me do my job to help get you back on track. So I've met with like a lot of headbutting with that. And that's when you know that's very tough to coach. And I tell people that all the time. I go, I don't expect you to be perfect. I don't. Just, are you coachable? That's easy to work with. And it's like, you get more success with the ones who aren't perfect but are coachable versus the ones that want all of the control. And it's like, it's hard for you to make the best out of them and get the best out of those people, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that does make sense. Thinking of one of my girls who's like super coachable. She literally just like, she's like, what can I do to be better? And she'll just tell me everything that's going on. But I love those personalities too, because you just know that they're like eager and willing to learn, and they want to learn. And especially when I work with some girls that are like trainers themselves or CPTs themselves too, because I think that's great that they can use that knowledge then to their future clients.
Yeah, it's one thing to be like, I messed up, but tell me how to fix it. And it's like, okay, here's what we're going to do to fix it. They're like, okay, done. I'll do it. That's coachable. That's super easy to work with. And I've had some girls that wouldn't reach out to me for like 2 years. And they're like, I've been so afraid to reach out for coaching. I go, why? They go, because I'm not perfect. I'm just starting out. I go, you don't have to be perfect. And I'm like, do I come off as like this? Like, I only take perfect athletes? No. I'm like, I'm sorry if you feel that way, but no, I go, I love those people who are just starting as well. It's like, because I was there. We were all amateurs at one point. It's like, I'm not perfect. I mean, I have an 11-year-old daughter. I have two crazy doodles upstairs. Like I'm running around constantly. I'm coaching basketball too in the evenings. So I just went to a basketball meeting the other day to see how the season's going to go. It's like, I'm a mom too. It's like, I'm not perfect. So I don't expect anyone else to be perfect. Anybody watching this podcast, it's like, if you've been afraid to reach out to me for 2 years,
Now.
like just do it.
Do
Like,
it
let's just
now.
have a conversation. And I'm also not one of those coaches who charge an arm and a leg for a consultation. And I feel like that's something that needs addressed when people say, man, like if they're charging $100 for a consultation, they must be good. Not necessarily. And they charge it for an entire hour. I feel like if you're a good coach, if you can't get your point across in 15 to 20 minutes, it's like, then they're just a salesman at that point. And I feel like there's so many sales people in this industry. And it's like, say what you got to say in 15 to 20 minutes. If I'm the right fit for you, great. If not, great. So it's like, do what you got to do for yourself. But I'm not going to waste my time putting on a front of being a fraud because you're going to find out sooner or later what kind of person I am anyway. So I'm going to show you who I am from the get go. And that's who you're going to get the rest of your time with me. So, and I feel like I've wasted my money on those salespeople and I find out later who they really are and you just waste time. So if that's a warning, I could.
For a consult before. I've never paid for a coaching consult before.
Exactly. It's like if you see those ones, that should be a red flag immediately.
Wow.
But yeah, so it's like, you paid what for a consult? I go, it blows my mind when I heard that. And they're like, they feel obligated to continue even after that. I go, no, just because you spent that much money on them. Like, no, like, yeah, it's like that should be a red flag immediately. Obviously, they just want your money quickly. And I think that's another thing too, is some coaches are like, oh, I can provide influence and marketing for you. That's another red flag. And it's like, if that's your only focus is Insta fame, then this isn't the sport for you because there's so much more into it.
Yep. And unfortunately, there are those people and they don't make it that far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather have real life friends than Instagram numbers, honestly.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never paid for a bot or a like or anything. Like, no, thank you.
Yeah. I don't have hundreds or millions of followers. And it's like, I'd rather just take my time growing it as it is than to spend all that money. And it's like, I know we're in the age where Instagram and TikTok is everything, but eventually that's going to go away. Whenever you're, again, 50, 60, 70 years old, that's not going to matter in the long run.
Yep.
Girl, I can't wait for the day that social media is not.
Same. It's so draining sometimes.
I don't understand TikTok. I'm on it, but I'm like, I just don't get it. But I have very few posts. Yeah.
So I kind of want to switch gears and ask you, what advice would you give to aspiring wellness competitors looking to pursue their own journey? Or I guess figure competitor, just any competitor, I guess.
I think the biggest thing to touch on is one, there's never going to be a perfect time to do it. Everyone always says, like, oh, I need to get this in order. I need to get that in order. Just do it. You just got to decide to do it because, yes, your whole life is going to go around you. And everyone always feels like the timing has to be perfect. It does not. You just have to start and just do it. So even aside from competing, any fitness journey, that is the hardest point. Even for me, when I started, because I was in CrossFit for years, I'm like, oh, I just want to do one show. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not ready. And that is the hardest part, I think. It's like, just do it. Just start doing it because you're wasting time just him-hawing around about it. But once you do it, commit to the whole thing full force and don't give up on yourself. Just keep going. And if you love it, keep going. If not, that's okay too. At least you found out rather than wondering what if. So, and just push yourself as far as you can go because, again, you don't want to look back and say, what if I tried harder? So I say just go for it and just make the best of yourself. And again, placings are not everything. They are not. Do it because you love it, because you love the competition, and you love to see the best version of yourself.
Thank you. I really like that.
All right, let's see. So we already kind of spilled the tea about the figure switch over, and we're thinking 2026, so next year. Do you have a show in mind?
My coach and I have been talking about it, and I go, it just depends on how much I grow. And he goes, we can tell you're growing already super fast. I'm like, yeah, we'll see. Family life is always in order anyway. I do like to coordinate with my husband. I'm like, do you have any work trips coming up? Like, just to make sure like our lives are in sync so I can go away for a show if I need to. But we've looked at the New York Pro maybe as a potential show. So that's definitely one of the ones I want to do, whether I want to do one sooner or later around that. It just depends on what's going on. But New York Pro is probably a definite one for sure next year. My coach lives near that area. So it's like, yeah, cool. We'll be in the same area together.
Awesome.
So,
Where do you live, by the way?
just south of Pittsburgh by like 20 minutes. So I'm in the suburbs. I'm not a city girl, but I'm just outside in the suburbs.
Love it. My husband and I are going up to Philly in 2 weeks
Okay,
for our
nice.
anniversary.
A lot of history there, a lot of U.S. history.
We're gonna climb the rocky stairs.
Yeah, do it. Get yourself a cheesesteak while you're there if
Yes,
it's on
gotta get
off
the
plan.
cheesesteak. All right. Well, what's anything else upcoming for you that you want to share with the viewers?
I don't think so. Yeah, I think that was the big thing about everybody wanting to know what my future plans were. That's like the constant question I get all the time. They're like, when are you doing figure? When are you doing your first figure show? And it's like around New York Pro. So I'm enjoying being in an off season. My cousin's getting married in a month. So it's nice to be in an off season where I can be there for my family, so to speak. And actually just had a vacation. I haven't been on a legit vacation in like 2 years. So I was really happy I could finally do that with my husband and my daughter and just like be like, okay. And it was kind of like the send off of the end of my wellness career. So it was like, all right, this is resetting me for the next part of my journey. So I'm ready for it, and I'm just excited to see what's going to unfold in the next year. So I take it 1 year at a time.
The only other thing before we plug social media is, I know we wanted to talk about like aging and bodybuilding. Did we talk about that enough, do you think? Or did we want to talk about that a little bit?
I think we touched on it enough as far as like muscle growth. Again, it depends on your genetics too. Your genetics, how far you're willing to go, either natural or the gear route. That's a personal decision as well. There are some older ones who are like, I've reached as far as I can go training wise too. So if you have ailments coming up, injuries, like I can't push the lower body like I could the older I get, like over 40, 45, that's up to you if you're willing to do that kind of work. So I think it comes down to a personal decision on where your life is at, where your body is at as far as like injuries, ailments, and whether you want to stay natural or go the gear route and anything in between. So that's always a personal decision. I don't push anything on any of my girls. I'm like, you just tell me what you want to do and we'll see if it's feasible for you. I had one girl on my team who's over 40 and she's like, I can't push my lower body anymore for wellness. And she was stuck in that in between. So I go, what do you want to do? She said, I still want to compete. And I said, do you want to think about bikini? She's like, so this way she's a competitor at heart too. And this way she doesn't have to crush her body. She's good where she's at. It's like you have to think about how many more years you're going to do this as well. So it's like you can still do this. And so you don't have to spend another 2 years in an off season when time is ticking, time is limited. So that was a factor for her, is like personal time putting into it. And she can still step on stage. She loves the stage. Like you can step on stage tomorrow. We can do that in bikini right now if that's what you want to do. So I always like to leave it up to them too. Like, what do you want to do? And let's see if that works.
That's good advice.
Yeah, I feel like I'm struggling with that personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, as much as I'm doing physical therapy, like I tried leg press yesterday, 1 plate per side. Wow, such progress. No, it's just like it's embarrassing to me, honestly. I'm like, I used to do like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plates per side. Like I don't even know. Like I couldn't count. It was so annoying carrying those plates and just coming down to like 1 plate per side with my injury and just trying to figure out like where it is and what it is and all that. Like, yes, I'm seeing glute growth. Like we love that. And like, but I just feel like my quads are just shrinking, just constantly
Well,
shrinking.
don't take this as a negative, but I like to say put your ego aside. And if you still want to be competitive, you want to jump on stage this year, maybe bikini might be a thought for you. It's not, again, like put your ego aside. I had to do that with wellness and figure as well. And it took my client who's over 40 a while to let go of wellness. I go, that's up to you. And she's ready. She's going to do Masters Worlds next weekend. So it's like, all right, you can still be competitive and do it and still be on stage instead of wait 2 years to grow. So it's tough to let go of the ego part. That's hard because once you love something, I still love wellness. I really do.
Mhm.
But it's like, it took me a hot minute to let it go. But you just got to think about what you want to do yourself personally.
Yeah. And how tall are you, by the way?
5'5". I'm
Okay.
considered a giant in bodybuilding, but I'm really not. In basketball, I was a midget.
Like, you don't
Considered.
want to know how tall
You're
we
2
are.
inches shorter than me. So that's good to know. It's really
And I'm
hard because I
5'11".
think, yeah, recently there was an athlete that she won first. God, I can't remember her name, but she was 5'7". And I was like, wow, like one of the first taller wellness girls. And it was nice to see. And now,
Makes me
like,
so happy.
yeah, I can kind of compare myself to that because it's hard because I'm not, I'm 30, I'll be 37 this year. I'm not old enough to compete in the Masters, right? Because that starts at 40. So
Masters Olympia is 40 and up, but you can still do 35 and up for Masters.
okay.
You just won't qualify for the Olympia because I'm stuck in that spot as well.
Yeah.
So I was talking with my coach and the same. I'm like, we could do over 35 shows, but it won't qualify me for Masters Olympia. But I still want to do it because I still like to compete. So it's like I'm still going to do them for fun.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That's good to know. That's very interesting.
But yeah, you
Cool.
are considered on the taller end. Even though you're only 5'5",
Mhm.
normally you see the girls like 5 foot, 5'2", 5'3", and then you have me and Emily over here like giants towering over everyone else.
I had my heels on earlier today doing my check-ins, and my husband came in and he's like, right here. Time I put my heels on, and he's shorter than me. It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Jeni, for joining us today. How can everyone find you? Tell us your Instagram. I know you're on TikTok, but not like anywhere else, YouTube, and then anything else you want to plug, like brands or anything like that.
Sure. You guys can reach out to me the most on Instagram. I'm on there more frequently than anything. TikTok, I'm on there like once every couple weeks. So if you send me a message there, you're probably not going to get a response there. I have my own website too. It's snacksinthewild.com, or you can email me at snacksinthewild@gmail.com. But yeah, I mean, if this is a fit that you want to investigate, feel free to message me. And I always encourage everybody to talk to everybody on my team as well. It's like, if you're not sure or you're not comfortable talking to me, talk to them. See if you like it or not. But yeah, with me, is what you see is what you get. There's no fluffs, no sales pitch. It's just, this is what I do. I love it. I'm a nerd about it. So you might think I'm super nerdy, but my husband always says, like, can we talk about something other than bodybuilding? I'm like, sorry, I just can't help it. It's just something I love, and I love to compete, and I love seeing other people shine as well. When it's my client's show day, I fall to the shade or the shadows. It's like, this is your day. I'm here to get you ready. And that's one thing that when people approach me at their shows, I kind of like deflect to my clients when it's their day. I'm like, but it's their show. Look how awesome they look. Like, I take the attention away from me because that's not why I do this. I just enjoy doing what I do.
Yeah, I know. I'm probably when people see you at like amateur shows or whatever, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's Jeni Snax!" They're like, "Can I get a picture?" Fangirling a little bit.
I'll do that and I'll get a picture with them, but immediately I bring the attention back to my client because it's their, like you said, it's like your wedding day. It's like you don't want the bride to feel lesser than because like a guest shows up in a white dress as well. So it's like, it's a special day for your client, and I want them to feel special too.
Yeah, yeah. I appreciate that. I love that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, will you be at are most of your clients in Pittsburgh that you go to, or do you travel to other shows?
I do travel if I can. It just depends on my daughter's sports schedule. So that's my only hang up with that. But I'll be in Pittsburgh next weekend for North Americans First for some amateurs. And then 2 of my pros are doing Masters Worlds. And then I'll probably be for sure at the Weeder for a couple clients there. But yeah, it just depends on how the rest of the year follows. But that's the immediate plans as of right now.
Awesome. Well, you guys go check Jeni out, go see her, and we just enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Have a
Well,
great
thank you, ladies, for having me.
Yeah, of course. All right, bye, girlies.
See ya.
This episode is brought to you by Wolfpack, gear built for life on the move. From backpacks, duffel bags, to meal management bags, Wolfpack keeps you ready for the gym, travel, and everything in between.